Hello everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show we're going to be breaking down all the day's movie news and kind of giving a little bit of background into what it means for their production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's hot topics. And the first hot topic we have to talk about today is Quentin Tarantino has kind of changed, he's changed his mind essentially on his latest project. A couple months ago, it was reported that his upcoming film, The Hateful Eight, that he had written, the script had leaked online, a website had given the link to a bunch of other people. He then decided to pursue legal action in terms of getting the site either shut down or getting monetary reimbursement or anything of that sort. Well, that suit was dropped I believe about a month and a half to 2 months ago, and about a couple of weeks ago, he held a live table read. It was the only time anyone was ever going to see this or hear this, and he held a table read of the entire script, and then he went and said that if he decided to, he's most likely going to be making the movie, but if he decided to make it, he would be changing the ending. So this was the only time that anyone who was at that reading would hear what the original ending to the story was. Well, it looks like he has rewritten the ending and everything is moving forward, because with the exception of the actual studio coming out and fully announcing this, it looks as though his next film will indeed be The Hateful Eight. Now, for those of you who don't know what the story is, it's another Western, so it's in line with Django Unchained, and it's an ensemble. It's going to be very dialogue heavy. There's not going to be a lot of action. And it takes place in Wyoming a few years after the Civil War, and it's mostly inside of a bar due to a snowstorm. So a snowstorm causes all these people to basically get together in this one location, and that's where the majority of the movie will be set. And it's an ensemble about two bounty hunters, one played by Kurt Russell and Samuel L. Jackson, taking a prisoner, played by Amber Tamblyn, to a trial, and then they have to go and basically shack up at this bar. At the bar, there's also an ex-Confederate officer who's played by Bruce Dern, a cowboy played by Michael Madsen, can't wait to see that, an Englishman potentially played by Tim Roth. In the live table read, Tim Roth was the one who read the part of the Englishman, but in the in the report that came out, his name was not included. And a soldier will also be at the bar, and he will be played by Walton Goggins. Now, for those of you who don't know Walton Goggins, he's been on shows like Justified. He was on Oz. He probably is one of the more memorable roles on Sons of Anarchy. He plays the transvestite, or the transvestite. Great character in that show, by the way. If anyone out there hasn't seen Sons of Anarchy, it's a very small role. He's only showed up in 2, maybe 3 episodes in the entire 6-season run. But it's just really great to see him on screen. He's really funny. You can tell that he's not the type of actor who would say, no, this goes against my image. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm not going to do that. He's not that type of an individual. He's really willing to go as far as he can in terms of portraying any sort of character that he's offered, because he's a character actor. He loves playing different people, regardless of what they are. He really enjoys it, and he's so good at it. Especially in Justified, he's so good on that show. So I'm really glad to see that he's teaming up with Quentin Tarantino on this. Christoph Waltz was also rumored for a part, but it looks as though he may not be involved in this project, because again, his name was not mentioned in the report. But who knows? I mean, Christoph Waltz has become a bigger name thanks to Quentin Tarantino. He's won both of his Academy Awards in Tarantino films, so who knows? He may come back and decide to join up if his schedule allows it. But filming is expected to begin in November. I'm really excited for this project. I gotta tell you, I mean, anytime a project for Quentin Tarantino is announced, it's just like, I mean, you just get happy, because this is one of the original auteurs of Hollywood. He is one of the original, he came out in this special time, in the mid-90s, in the indie scene, as it were. And he has such a unique vision to film. He brings such a contrast to what we normally see on a day-to-day basis, and that's why he is so good. And he's so good at what he does. His dialogue is insane. His characters are memorable in every movie that he does. It's just, you could keep going on and on and on. He is just one of the absolute best out there. Now, granted, he is an acquired taste. There are people out there who do not like him, and I can understand that, and I respect that as well. But for the majority of film goers out there, if you are a film fan, it's a 99% chance that you are a fan of Tarantino. So you know exactly what I mean. I mean, I would love to hear other aspects of this. If you guys want to throw a comment in the comment section, just to let me know. But I mean, the sound of this movie, it really sounds like he's combining a couple of his projects, like a couple of aspects of his projects that he's done in the past, and really going full steam ahead with this. I'm really happy that he decided to come back to this project because, I mean, yes, he was upset. Everyone would be upset in that situation. I think he went too far in publicly stating what his intentions could potentially be. That probably crossed a little bit of a, well, not even crossed a line. It just he just shouldn't have done that. Because now, if he never had to come out and said that, if he had to come out and said, yeah, I'm upset about this, and then left it at that, and now said, okay, the Hateful Eight's back on, then no one would have really worried about it. But he has lost a couple of people just due to his reaction to this. But I mean, it's understandable. The guy, he works on one project at a time. He does not do what majority of people in Hollywood do. He doesn't work on 2 or 3 projects or more at the same time, prepping one, shooting another, finishing up another one. He doesn't do that. He once he finishes a movie, he then takes a little bit of a break, and then he starts deciding, okay, what's a good idea? What do I want to make a movie about? What's something that's been brewing inside for a long time that I really want to tell? And so with him putting his heart and soul into this project and into this script, and some idiot leaking it online thinking he's doing a great thing or thinking that it's funny or whatever the case may be, first off, it wasn't right for them to do that whatsoever, because he sent it out to 6 people. The backstory is, for those of you who don't know, excuse me, Quentin Tarantino, once he finished the script, he gave the script to, I believe, 6 agents for specific actors to read. I believe Michael Madsen and Bruce Dern were 2 of those original actors. And so essentially what happened was the script got leaked. And I don't know if they were able to figure out exactly who leaked it, but they did find a website that had a link to it. They weren't the ones who uploaded it, but they had a link to it. And so they were like, hey, everyone, come to our site. We have access to the Hateful Eight script. Click here and you can go and read it. But come to our site. And so he decided to pursue legal action with this site. He demanded that they take it down. I believe that they didn't resist in taking it down either. I don't think there was any resistance in that, but it was just in the pursuing legal action after that there was a little bit of back and forth. But yeah, no, filming is now expected to begin in November. Again, none of this is confirmed by the studio, but a lot of reports are coming out and confirming what other news sources have said. So it's very likely that this is going to happen. Once we do get a confirmation, I will put it in rapid fire, just because it's just going to be a little bit of an update. But yeah, really great news. I'm very excited for this project. I'm glad that he's deciding to go back to this project, because he really does make great westerns. You look at Kill Bill Volume 2. Even though it's set in modern day, it is a western. Just watch the trajectory of the story. It's a western. You look at Inglourious Basterds. You know, the Brad Pitt segment of that movie is pretty much a western, just set in World War II. Django Unchained, obviously a western because it's set in that time. So he really does love and have a love for this genre. And so we need more westerns as well. You know. So I'm really happy about this. I cannot wait for this project to start. I can't wait to start seeing some images, and then eventually the final film when it's released. It's probably going to come out at the end of 2015 or beginning of 2016. It all depends on when they actually get started. All right, and the next section of hot topics we have to talk about is a new trailer dropped today for a film that I had heard about, but I wasn't quite sure. Nothing really appealed to me. The cast was great, absolutely. But nothing really seemed like it was going to be unique about the film. Well, then I saw the trailer, and I have to tell you, this film looks so damn charming. Like I can't think of another word to use other than charming. I had a grin on my face the entire way through the trailer, and it's a romantic, or not a romantic. Sorry, it is a comedy drama, like a dramedy. And essentially, it's set around a dysfunctional family that gets brought together in the wake of their father's death. And it stars Jason Bateman, Tina Fey, Adam Driver, Jane Fonda, Rose Byrne, Dax Shepard, Timothy Olyphant, and many, many more. the one thing I took away from it, the one standout, I mean, Jason Bateman is always great. Tina Fey really impressed me in this trailer. I did not actually see Tina Fey. I kept thinking to myself, who is that? Who is that? I recognize her because I wasn't seeing Tina Fey. I was seeing a character. And this is one of the first times that I've actually seen this with Tina Fey outside of Saturday Night Live. But it was just, it was unique and funny and fun and charming and heartwarming. And you see the interplay between all the characters. The chemistry between them is unbelievable. Adam Driver, fresh off of being cast in the new Star Wars movie. You know, he comes in, the scene where the mother says you're all grounded, and they're all just sitting there uncomfortably on the couch, just silent, staring ahead, and his phone rings, and he goes, hey, what's up? Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. You know, we're just sitting here in an awkward silence. You know, I mean, just his delivery of that line, and later on in the trailer, some other sequences, like, you see why he was chosen for Star Wars. And, I mean, Jane Fonda coming back to play the mother, and having, you know, her... the character, her character has breast implants in the movie, and they keep poking fun at that throughout the entire thing. You know, her saying, "Hey, you know, don't be ashamed. You know, they're just breasts. You know, you suckled on them as a child." And he goes, "No, I didn't, Mom. Those, you have bionic breasts now." Like, I mean, the writing and the chemistry, the back and forth, the comedic timing. Everything about this trailer just looks so charming. And the thing that really surprised me is it's from Sean Levy. The director of this movie is Sean Levy. For those of you who don't know, he's directed a lot of movies. The most recent one he did was the Internship, The Internship with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. Not a great movie, but he also has done Real Steel. He did The First Night of the Museum. He's done a lot of films, and it really surprised me that he was coming out with something like this. Like, this movie is just very refreshing to see something new and unique. I'm really excited for this movie now after seeing this trailer. It was not on my radar before. It was going to be, oh, this movie came out, oh, cool, you know, I'll see it when it comes out on video. No, this is probably going to be a theater movie. This is depending on what comes out that week, I may even review this film as my weekly movie, and I usually pick whatever the biggest release is that movie, or that week. With the exception of this upcoming week. Most people would classify Maleficent as being the biggest release, but I am going to be reviewing A Million Ways to Die in the West. I've had a lot of people ask me about whether or not I'm going to be reviewing that or Maleficent, so I will be reviewing A Million Ways to Die in the West. But no, this is probably going to be one of my reviews, because this movie just looks so charming, and I can't really think of another word. Like, honestly, I got the link to the trailer in the description of the video, so definitely check it out, and you'll understand what I mean after you watch it. So, I mean, everybody's going to have a different opinion. All film is subjective, so you never are going to agree with me or disagree with me and have me be mad at you for that. So you don't have to worry about anything. The movie's going to open September 12th. I'm really excited for this. I can't wait for it. Let me know in the comment section whether or not you guys liked it as much as I did. I probably liked it a lot more than most people, just because I had zero expectations for this trailer, and it literally blew me out of the water. I was blown out of the water by this trailer. It was excellent. All right, that brings us up to Rapid Fire. So with Rapid Fire, we're basically updating projects that have been talked about in the past, or maybe just a little bit of information that's come out about that project that we don't really know a lot about yet. So the first topic we have to talk about in Rapid Fire is a remake of The Raid, the Indonesian film The Raid. If anyone hasn't seen that movie, stop what you're doing and go and see it. It is an unbelievably amazing film. They just released a sequel a couple of months ago. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, in my area, there were no theaters that were playing the movie, so I do have to wait for the movie to come out on streaming or on DVD, or Blu-ray. But a couple of things about this remake. The production start date of this remake was supposed to start in September. But they now have since pushed that back to January of 2015. So they're giving it as much time, and this usually shows that a studio has faith in the product, because they are willing to give the filmmaker more time, and more so that they have faith in the person who's handling it, because they are willing to give them more time to work on it, instead of giving a start date and saying, no, you have to start by this time. They're pushing it back. They're giving him more time. It's being directed by Patrick Hughes, who has the upcoming Expendables 3 coming out in August. So He's going to direct it. From everything that I've heard of Expendables 3, he's done an amazing job. That's one of the reasons why he got this project. But one of the things that really has me ramped up about this is the unique and eclectic cast that they supposedly have in line for it. So these are the people apparently that they're trying to get. These people are not signed on. They have not entered negotiations, so don't quote me on anything like that. But so the people who are interested are Luke Evans, Anthony Mackie, Frank Grillo, and Ethan Hawke. So those of you who don't know, Luke Evans, who played the villain in Fast and Furious 6, Anthony Mackie, who played Falcon in Captain America Winter Soldier, Frank Grillo, who played Crossbones in Captain America Winter Soldier, and is also the lead in the upcoming The Purge Anarchy, which launches this summer, and Ethan Hawke. Most of you know who Ethan Hawke is from things like Gattaca, and he just was in the original Purge. So, I mean, all of these people are rumored to be up for roles. This is a really cool cast, especially looking at Luke Evans, Mackie, and Grillo. Hawke, we haven't really seen in a role like this, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of role he takes on. If he takes more of a business-type role, or if he is one of the DEA agents. Which actually gets me to the next point. The North American remake is actually going to focus on DEA FAST teams. And FAST team stands for Foreign Deployed Advisory and Support Teams. So it's still most likely going to keep its international setting, with the DEA tasked to take down something in another country that most likely is affecting an American situation, or maybe the American embassy, or we don't know. We don't have any idea of what the plot is, outside of the fact that it will deal with DEA teams. That comes directly from Patrick Hughes. So it's interesting. I'm very happy that they are pushing it back. I am not excited whatsoever about this project, because I love The Raid, and The Raid just came out 3 years ago. So why do they need to make a remake? The movie was already very good. It had subtitles. You don't need to see it. I don't think they can improve upon the action, although he did say he was going to try to stick with the same level of action, that's going to be hard. But it's tough for me to get excited about this because I love the first one so much. But the fact that the studio is willing to push back the start date so to give him more time, that shows a good sign that the studio is happy with what they have so far. So it may surprise, it may come out and be really good. Look at one thing that John Campea over at AMC Movie Talk always talks about, and this makes so much sense. The Departed was a remake of Infernal Affairs, which was, I believe it was a Korean film. I may be incorrect as the location. It's from the Asian film market. But Infernal Affairs is almost a perfect film. The Departed was an unbelievable film. That was an insanely good movie. And the fact that it was a remake of a recently released movie, like they were only a few years apart, same amount, like 3-4 years apart, and it happened to be a remake. So I mean, it can happen, and it can be good. It can sometimes even be better, but it's rare that happens. So I'm hesitant on this, but I'm going to support it just because the studio looks like they are going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So for right now, I'm intrigued by it, but I hope they don't screw it up because the original is so good. But anyway, and something to add on to what I was just talking about on Monday's episode. So I talked about how Drew Goddard, who was the showrunner of the upcoming Daredevil television series, which was going to start production in July, he actually left the production as of Saturday. It was announced that he was no longer involved in the production as a showrunner. He is still involved as an executive producer, but he is no longer a showrunner. And Stephen DeKnight, who was the showrunner of Spartacus, has actually come on to replace him. Now, just days after that happened, they've now announced who's going to play Daredevil. And so Charlie Cox, most people would probably recognize him for Boardwalk Empire, whoever has watched that show. If you haven't watched that show, that's a great show. You need to watch that. But he was also in Stardust, which was one of Matthew Vaughn's first films. He did Layer Cake, and then I believe he did Stardust after that. And it had, Michelle Pfeiffer, it had Robert De Niro in it. It had a really great cast, really odd film, but really good film. But he has been cast as Matt Murdock, Daredevil. They also did confirm that the show will be set in present day Hell's Kitchen, it was not going to be a period show or anything of that sort. It is set in modern day. and it will be the first of 5 new shows. I covered this on Monday's show, but I'll talk about it again. It will be the first of 5 new shows. And so the other 4 will be Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and that will all culminate in the Defenders show, which is basically all 4 of them joining up in an Avengers-style television series. Now, a couple of people have actually been writing in and asking, why am I covering any of the Marvel Netflix shows? Because it's television, and I've stated that this is going to be movie news. Well, the main reason is because both Alan Horn and I believe Kevin Feige's even come out and said this, but I will have to double check on that. But I know that Alan Horn has come out and stated that this takes place, these Marvel television series on Netflix take place within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So the events of these shows will not only affect the upcoming movies will also affect the television series if they take place within a relatively close area to where they're being shot or where they're set. So they're interconnected. The shows affect the movies affect the shows. So that's why I've been talking about them. If you guys don't want me talking about them anymore, please do let me know. I will take that under advisement. Don't get me wrong. Any suggestions you guys send in, I definitely will take under advisement. Now, whether or not I will actually decide to go through with that is another matter. But as it stands right now, I will continue to be talking about the Marvel Netflix shows, because right now we only know about Daredevil. The next one down the line is rumored to be Jessica Jones. That is the second one to be done. But we don't have any more information outside of the Daredevil show. So this one's going to start filming, I believe, in July. Once it's finished, it will be available next summer, and it will be available all 13 episodes all at once. So you'll be able to binge watch the entire show, which is the way that Netflix is positioning themselves. They want all their shows to be available right off the hop. So, I mean, this is, to me, is nothing but good news. It's just really unfortunate that Drew Goddard had to drop out of the project. But, I mean, he's having to more focus on Sinister Six, which to me that says more about what Sony is trying to do with their Spider-Man Expanded Universe, because they're wanting him to now delve into it full time, into creating this script, creating this story in this world, and not have potentially what happened with Spider-Man 2, where they throw everything at the kitchen sink and see what sticks. So I hope that they are really trying to take a step back and see, okay, what do we do wrong? What do we do right? Where do we go from here? I really hope that's the outlook that they have, but until we get more information, this is all we have on that project. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. You've been a great audience. Now, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your updates on movies or anything of that sort. Also, don't forget to click the subscribe button down in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever I post a new video. And if you go to our website down here at the bottom, movienewswithniklsun.ca, on the contact section, you can actually send in an email. And in the email, you can put whatever you want in terms of comment, question, topic, anything of that sort. And on every Friday episode, before I do the review, I will have a user-submitted questions episode where we talk about any of the questions that you guys send in. So if you have anything you want to discuss or talk about on the show, go to the website, go to the contact section and send in an email, or just go to Gmail and email us at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com, and I will get your questions answered on every Friday episode. Well, this has been Niklsun. You guys have been great. You take care and enjoy the rest of your day. See you later.